According to recent statistics, 1/3 of all online activity is spent watching videos. And if we follow the breadcrumbs that platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube are leaving us, well, we can only come to the conclusion that not only is video here to stay, but that's going to play an increasingly more important role in helping us market and promote our small businesses. And as an experienced marketer with absolutely no formal video editing training, but with over 150 YouTube videos under my belt now, I can tell you from personal experience that the key to successfully leveraging video to promote your small business or personal brand is in selecting a really easy to use video editing software, which is why in this video I'm going to introduce you to my video editing software of choice, Camtasia. Hi y'all, I'm Vivian Walton, the seasoned marketer, and I share marketing tips, tools, and tactics with resourceful business owners. Before I log into my computer and show you what Camtasia has to offer, I want to give you a little background on what I was looking for when I was selecting a video editing software, and also what ultimately led me to choosing Camtasia. I started making videos about 4 years ago, and for the first 2 years I was using iMovie. It came preloaded onto my Mac, and for somebody like me who was an absolute beginner, I had no clue what I was doing when it came to video editing. It was easy enough for me to navigate and also to teach myself. Now, as I got more comfortable in my skills with video editing and I wanted to incorporate more transitions, elements, graphics, freeze frames, those types of things, I knew that I would want to find a new video editing software that would give me more of those capabilities. Not that I necessarily couldn't do it in iMovie, but I just knew that I wanted to step up my video editing game, and so that would require me to research and find a new system or software that would allow me to do all of that. While I was researching, I saw the same two names or recommendations come up for video editing software, and that was Adobe Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro. I will be honest with you, I felt uncomfortable investing money in either one of those two softwares. The reason being not so much because of the price point, but really because of the learning curve. I have a full-time job. I videotape and edit all on my own, and I do it on the side on top of having a family and trying to have a social life and all of that. And so I was not willing to invest the hours that it would take me to learn those two softwares really well so that I could pump out great videos. That's when I found a third viable option, Camtasia. Camtasia is just one of the products that is offered through TechSmith, and it happens to be their video editing software and screen recorder all in one. What initially drew me to Camtasia is I did a 30-day free trial, and from day one I was very effective in putting my videos together with the video editing software. So there was really not a big learning curve with it. It was intuitive, easy to use. I didn't have to YouTube a bunch of videos to figure out how to do transitions or anything along those lines. So I was able to hit the ground running from day one. Now, the other nice thing was the price point. It was $249 at the time, and it wasn't, it didn't have a monthly fee to it. Additionally, it also would give me a discount on any upgrades in the future, which I really liked. I think that when I did finally upgrade it to the next version, it actually gave me something like 50% off. So that was nice. Additionally, you can use it on either Mac OS or Windows, which for me worked out great because I did make a transition in those years from a Mac to now a Windows computer. And lastly, the reason I decided to take the leap and do a 30-day free trial with Camtasia was because of the preloaded items that they had available in the software. They do have templates for intros, outros, they have a lot of transitions that you can use. And so that was one of the things that I really liked because I figured it would cut down and save me some time. And so now let me log into Camtasia and show you what it has to offer. All right, so I've happened to log into one of my existing files here in Camtasia. It's actually the file for the video that you're currently watching. If first I'm going to go through the layout, and then I'm also going to talk about the options that we have and some of the preloaded elements. Now up here at the top, you'll notice that this is where your file name will appear. To the left at the toolbar, you have your typical options: File, Edit, Modify, View, Export, and Help. Obviously, File is going to be where you find all of your saves, save as, to name the file, projects, opening projects, starting new projects, even exporting. Edit, it's the typical, arrange, jump to, add placeholder. Modify, you can modify your elements, add behaviors, add effects. And then really export's the other one that you use quite a bit, because this is where you're going to be exporting your file when you save it as an MP4. Now up here to the right, this green button that says export, that's also another option that you have to do this rather quickly. Notice you would come up here, select local file, and then you can save your MP4. Now to the left hand side, you're going to see your options for elements or for editing your video. That includes everything from media, library, favorites, annotations, transitions, behaviors, animations, cursor effects, voice narration, audio effects. And if you select more down here, there are a couple more elements to it: visual effects, interactivity, and captions. Right here, because I have media selected right now, you'll notice that all of the media that is related to this particular project that I'm working on appears right here. So this is where I am uploading the media. I typically come down here to that plus sign and I select it, do import media, and then I could come and select whichever files I want to import into the project. Here in the middle of the screen, you are going to see whichever element that you are currently working on. So typically what I'll do is I'll upload my files. I will drag this down here, and then I start to edit my videos. I have options down here to edit, and one of those that I use a whole lot of is the split option. So basically when I come in, select the video, and I click split, it will allow me to then go in and modify the video as I wish. Now I'm going to undo that because I don't need to do that. Over here to the right hand side of the video, if you notice when I select that particular clip, I have two other options. Up here is visual properties, and right here are audio properties. For visual properties, I have the capability to scale. So if I wanted to do that, I could. Now I'm going to undo that because I don't need to. I can also change the opacity of it right there, make it darker. I can rotate if I need to. I can reposition how it appears on the screen. If I select audio properties, it will give me the ability to actually increase the volume on here, so adjust it as I need be. Properties down here, this button, it basically will give you the option to either show this pane right here, or you can deselect it and it will be gone. So that's extremely useful. To the bottom, as I mentioned, down here is where you do all of your editing. And if you notice, what you do whenever you are editing these videos together is just like at the opening here, I have myself speaking, and then I want to have it change to another video. You actually layer it. So if you increase up, notice you'll see all these different tracks. And that is how you go about just kind of layering your video with other media in there. One of the reasons that I decided to go with Camtasia is because I liked how robust all of their templates were that were already preloaded. Now, where you find that is right here under Library. Notice you're able to toggle between Camtasia 2021, or you can actually download more assets or create a new library. Now for myself, when I click default, I actually have a few key elements already loaded on here. I uploaded my name header, my social icons, my intro, and my website. What that does is every single time whenever I go and open a new project, I have those key elements already preloaded in there, and those are elements that I myself have created. The reason I like that is because instead of having to copy and paste from file to file, I easily just bring this over and there we go. I have my elements in there. So it's very nice to be able to customize the system to do that. On top of that, if I wanted to revert back or switch to that Camtasia 2021, these are the templates that I was talking to you about that they have preloaded and that I can customize. For example, they have icons in here that you can use. So some of those icons, let's say business. You can see they have a bar chart, they have a calendar, they have, camera, all of that, and those are free for you to use. Now, I don't typically use the icons because I think they're a little elementary, but the intros and the outros are a really big deal, and so are the lower thirds, especially if you are getting started with creating videos. This will cut down on a lot of time simply because you are not having to put these graphic elements together, and you could customize these. So let's look at intros. One of the intros that, let's say, I actually used to use for my videos was this line wipe. So if you notice, this is what it looks like. Now, because I don't have, my business is not Camtasia and TechSmith, I can actually come in here and change the text. Notice I'm right here to the right, and I can type in the seasoned marketer for Camtasia. Where Camtasia is, I'm going to put marketing tips, and then I'm just going to put my website. It has uploaded all of the verbiage that I customized. I also have the option to come over here and change the font if you want. So I can select to do a Arial black instead, or I can change the font color to green if I wanted to. These are all options that you have. Now, another thing is we can actually change the color of the background. Notice that it's blue right now. Maybe I want to change it to green. You have options like that. I'm going to delete that, but the other part of it is the lower thirds. Perhaps you don't have a graphic made, but you want to include a name that will pop up and appear whenever somebody is speaking. This one right here says TechSmith Camtasia. Once again, I come over here to the right and I can modify that to say Vivian Walton and change that to the seasoned marketer. I could change the colors if I want, but that's just an example. Look at all these options that they have right here. So these are all different options that you have that you can modify. And that right there is part of the reason that I decided to go with Camtasia, because it saves a whole lot of time. This is another one you can use. So the outros, likewise, are preloaded on here, and those options, they have two options for those, but you can modify as you wish, so that may work for some of you. They also have preloaded music tracks on here if you're wanting to add some music to your videos, and they have motion backgrounds. So if you wanted to do something like, the spinning counter, you can add that right here. This is what would appear. So they have some pretty excellent graphics that you can upload, and that helps to create a better and more entertaining video on your end. Another thing outside of just the preloaded templates are the annotations. You can easily add call outs if you want to your video. So that's one of the call outs. If I wanted to say Vivian Walton or whatever you want, you can add those on there pretty easily. You have a drop down right here where it says style. They have different styles preloaded. So the style that's on right now is basic. If you do abstract, notice it changes it just a tad, and you have different types of options. So it's depending on what type of look and feel you want your video to have. They have an industrial one where you can add different elements on here. And of course, you can always change the colors and the fonts on each one of these. Now up here, you have callouts, arrows and lines, shapes, special, sketch motion callouts, and also keystroke callouts. So as you click through these, you'll notice that you have different options once again, depending on which style you select. But you also have options to blur. And so for example, if I add that there, it blurs that part of the rectangle wherever I place this rectangle. If I wanted it to just, you know, be over my face or to be over the entire video, then I certainly can adjust that. But these are elements that will help you to upgrade and to really be able to put together a video that is a little more engaging than most. Sketch motions are also available. So for example, if you want to add check marks that appear, you can add those on there. Another really robust library that I like within Camtasia are their transitions. So if you select transitions, notice all of these that are preloaded. There are a ton of options. And it's really nice because depending on how you're wanting your video to look, you can customize these. Now, these will go in, let's say right there, I'll select it. And when it transitions from one frame to the next, it has a cool effect to it. Now I'm gonna delete that because I don't want those on there. You have various options that you can select, and they all change the look of your video. On top of that, you have behaviors right here. This is whenever you have text or icons that come in, you can actually add these different types of behaviors to them. So if you want something to jump and fall, if you want something to pop up. The other great part is that because Camtasia is so intuitive, instead of having to add these on to your actual clip for you to see what they look like, it gives you a preview of it right here when you just hover over it. So that saves you a little bit of time. You can include animations to your videos. I really like the scale down and the scale up options. So for example, scale up, this allows me to zoom in to a particular video clip, so that way I can give it emphasis whenever I'm talking about something important. I'll have the video clip zoom in slowly, and then that way it creates another element or another feature within my video. You have a ton of those here that you can include. There are also audio effects that are preloaded on here. So fade in, fade out, noise removal. These are really popular whenever you upload an audio that's not the best quality, but you want to delete or remove some of that noise in the background. You can use noise removal. Fade in and fade out I've used before whenever I am including some music in my videos. So I'll do the fade in at the beginning and then fade out whenever I want the audio or the music to taper off. Visual effects, notice right here you can add borders, clip speed. You can actually increase or slow down the speed of your video. You can do color adjustments, corner rounding, device frames. That's a big one that I also like to use. So for example, if I add it right here, it will take the video that I had and it puts it into this frame so that it looks like it's a video that I'm watching on a computer. Now, right here, if you notice where it says device frame to the right, it gives you options of desktop, iPhone, MacBook Pro, and so it changes those as you wish. As I mentioned, what I really liked about Camtasia is that from day one, when I started using it, I was able to come in here and just navigate through all of this on my own. It's not rocket science, it's super intuitive. I went in, I looked at my options, I played around with it a little bit, but it didn't require that I spend hours trying to figure out how to do this. All of the options are preloaded and they're there, and so all it really took was for me to start importing my media and piecing together my video. If you're looking for a video editing software system that happens to be easy to navigate, is also a screen recorder, and does not have a steep learning curve, then I highly recommend that you give Camtasia a try. I have been using them now for a couple of years, and I am extremely satisfied with how easy it is to navigate and the capabilities that it gives me when it comes to creating videos. If you like this video, remember that every Monday I release a video just like this that could help you save time and money when it comes to marketing your business. Also, don't forget that I have a website at www.theseasonedmarketer.com where I have a couple of freebies for you to download today. And also don't forget to sign up for my weekly email list so that way I can hit your inbox with even more marketing tips and tools that you can use. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next week, same time and place.